I understand you will be hosting a
Thank
town
you.
hall event in West Michigan tomorrow. What kind of conversation do you want to have with Michigan voters?
Well, I think we want to continue to have the kind of conversation that Donald Trump has been having with the American people since the outset of this election. We want to talk about America's place in the world. We want to talk about the threats to our security and peace. We want to talk about the challenges that the people of Michigan and Grand Rapids and this country are facing in this weak economic recovery, and what Donald Trump and I are talking about doing to really change the trajectory of the failed status quo in our nation's capital.
Governor, talk about your strategy in Michigan. Is this a state your campaign considers up for grabs?
Well, we really do. I think Donald Trump has made a connection with everyday Americans like no one since my hero Ronald Reagan. He's given voice not only to the frustrations, but also the aspirations of the American people. And we believe that's a message that will carry in Michigan, Wisconsin, my home state of Indiana, and frankly all over this country. The American people want to make America great again. They want us to stand tall in the world. They want us to confront our enemies. But they also know that an economy that hasn't produced a real raise in the income of working Americans for 15 years is beneath the expectation of our people. We can do better. Donald Trump knows how to do that with tax reform, repealing Obamacare, negotiating trade deals that will work for American workers and consumers, and I'm just honored to be a part of his team.
Have you been following the DNC out of Philly, and if so, what are your impressions so far?
We've been campaigning hard together, shoulder to shoulder, but we've taken a little bit of time to watch what's happening at the DNC. And I got to tell you, I was taken aback that on the first day of the Democratic National Convention, 61 speakers took to the podium, and not one of them mentioned ISIS by name. I mean, everywhere I've gone in my state and now around the country, the security of the people of this country is foremost in everyone's mind. Our enemy in ISIS, who has leveled attacks at our allies and inspired attacks against our own people, is first and foremost in the hearts and minds of our people. And the fact that the Democratic National Convention, all their speakers on the first day never mentioned that threat, I think is very telling. And what you have in Donald Trump is someone who will rebuild our military, restore America's strength in the world, and he'll confront and destroy the enemies of our freedom, and especially ISIS.
Governor, last year you drew national attention for signing a religious freedom law that critics said allowed businesses to discriminate against same-sex couples. You then reached a compromise and the law was revised. Instead of debating the merits of that law, I want to know, what did that whole episode teach you about governing?
Well, you know, I abhor discrimination, and I cherish the liberties enshrined in our Constitution. And to your point, we passed a law that was very similar to what President Clinton signed almost 20 years ago for our federal courts, raising the judicial standard. But when the controversy ensued, when it became a source of great attention around the country, we made a change. We made a change in a way that didn't compromise the constitutional liberties of any of our citizens. And we moved beyond it. Indiana's more prosperous than it's ever been before. But it certainly was a learning experience for me, and a time that I learned it's important to communicate your mind and your heart when dealing with issues like that, which I'll always aspire to do in the days ahead.
And Governor, lastly, you hail from a neighboring state, as you pointed out, Indiana, facing similar struggles as Michigan. Roads, education, jobs. I've seen some articles where you tout your record, but some say you haven't done enough there. How do you answer those critics?
Couldn't be more proud of the progress the people of Indiana have made over much of the last 10 years. We've been able to cut taxes and make record investments in education and infrastructure, and all the while preserve one of the strongest fiscal foundations of any state in the country, a AAA bond rating. And earlier this week, the largest budget reserves in our state's history. That's the kind of leadership that common sense, conservative principles bring to a state house. It's exactly the kind of leadership that Donald Trump and I will bring to the White House, and I'm just honored to be a part of the team.
Governor Mike Pence, we'll see you in West Michigan tomorrow. Thanks for your time.
Look forward to it. Thank you.